Hello guys, welcome in Unified IT Solution. Today topic is the what is the identity connection and DB input in Splunk. So we'll discuss about three mandatory prerequisites that we need to configure into the Splunk and what are the importance of those and why they are required. Let's start. So identity is Splunk DB Connect is the user credential used to authenticate against a database. It defines the username and required to connect to the database. Purpose of this to secure your database credential within Splunk configuration. You create an identity in Splunk DB Connect and map it to the database connection. Example: if connecting to a MySQL database, you might set up a identity for DB underscore user and with its associate password. So identity is nothing but the credential that is required to connect your database. So it could be vary from different database to database, and it could be have multiple for specifically access to your database over the table. So the main purpose of this, like to secure database, you could have the passwordless username as well, but always recommended by the Splunk that it should be secure so nobody else can access the same password, and because of that it could be locking your locking your username. So make sure that you use the password, and that should be the complex password, which is the password criteria we pass. So that's the identity. And next is connection. So connection is the definition how Splunk communicate with the database. It include the database type, connection string, host, port, identity used to authenticate. Component like database type MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL, Oracle, host, port, IP address or host name, database server, and its ports. Database name, specific database Splunk will access. Identity, the credential used to authenticate. Purpose, to define the technical detail of database communication. So like the first thing was identity. So after identity, what is we required to connect a database? So we require definitely the name of the database, and then host and port, and its specific table you want to connect. You need a database table name, or you need a database name. So database could be MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, or any other database. So while you creating the credential, so first thing you need to choose the identity, like which credential that you want to use. So you will choose the identity from the top, and then you will enter all this detail into the connection, and then you click on the save button. I will show you might be in my next video practically, but today I'm just explaining what those are and why it is required. So click and it will test the connection. So it will actually go and log into the database and test the connection. So it makes sure that credential that you are using and the host, port, database, those are the correct. If it does not meet the requirement, so it will throw you some error, and then you have to resolve that issue. So once identity is ready, you can create connection. You can create an connection according how many database identity you have. So according to that you can make the connections. Next and last one is the DB input. Like after identity is created and connection is established, now using that connection DB input, we can set up the DB input. So what are the parameter of DB input? So DB input is used to fetch data from database in Splunk for analysis. Type of the DB input: batch input, pulls data specific interval every 5 minutes. Rising column track increment change into the column. Example ID timestamp to ensure Splunk retrieve only new data. Tail input, similar to rising column but designed for real-time tailing of log like data. Configuration steps: select connection, choose a predefined configured database connection like as I told, and write SQL query, define the SQL query, desired database from the database, and set scheduling, define the interval how frequently that you want to run, every 5 minutes, 15 minutes, once in a day, twice in a day, or once in a week, month, or year. So you can define. This is run based on the cron tab. Index mapping, then choose the name of the index where you want to store the data pulling from the database. So you could so DB Connect is the the last step how the data how the data will be pulled from the database to the Splunk, and what are the things required. Connection is definitely required, then SQL query, then type of the input you need to define batch. So batch, it will just pull the data in bulk. In every 5 minutes it will just get the data, whatever data is available in the table, so it will get all the data. Rising column is something, it will work on the uh, tracking incremental change, like whatever the last change happened from the last fetch data, so it will track that via id or timestamp, and it will fetch the data from the top of that, like only the what you call the delta data, or you can say only new data. Tail input is similar to rising column, but it designed for only for real time telling of data, but we mostly don't use, we mostly use batch and rising column, which is more powerful. Yeah, so this is how, like, what identity, connection and db input we discuss, and might be next video I will describe how to practically I will show you how you can create identity, connection and db input, and we'll try to fetch the data from database. So thank you guys, this is for today's, and kindly subscribe our channel, like our video, and let us know if you wanted to create any topic, any specific topic video, so definitely we'll do it for you. Thank you so much.